Now let's move on to the next activity, that is building your motion and light sensors. The goal of this activity is to make a fully integrated and operational motion and light sensors so that you can automate your lights around you through motion and light. Now let's have a look at all the tools and components which will be required in order to build your motion and light sensors in order to automate your lights. Now as you can see in the manual, the first component which you will be using is a resistor. Resistors are basically, as you can see, two terminal devices which are non-polar in nature, which means they don't have a negative or a positive side to it. You can actually place a resistor on a PCB board as you want it. The main property of a resistor is to resist the flow of current in a circuit. Higher the resistance, low current will flow in the circuit. The next component which you're going to use in your activity is a capacitor. Now capacitor are two terminal devices again, but here they are polar in nature. That means they have a positive as well as a negative side to it. As you can see here, the longer leg of a capacitor is positive and the shorter leg is negative. In very easy terms, capacitors have a property of storing charges in them that when a circuit needs charge, it can be provided through a capacitor. A Molex connector is an electromechanical device to connect electrical wires to circuits. Over here, as you can see, we are using a 2-pin Molex connector which will be used as AC in and at AC out. Transformers. Transformers, as you know, or maybe you've studied, are 4-leg devices which are used to step up and step down the electrical voltage. In this circuit, your transformer will be responsible for stepping down your voltage as you'll be getting a 220 volt in and you'll be having to reduce that voltage in your circuit. So the first step after powering your circuit, you will be needing a transformer to step down your voltage as the incoming voltage you have is 220 volts as you can see here. So your transformer, as you can see, has two sides. One, a red side and one, a green side. Your red side is your input side which actually takes in the 220 voltage, and your green side is the output side which steps down that voltage and provides it to the other part of the circuit. Diodes. Diode is a two-terminal electrical component having two sides, an anode and a cathode. Over here, as you can see, the anode part of a diode is marked by the black color of the diode and the cathode part is marked by the gray color. Similarly, on your PCB board, the anode part is marked by the green color and the cathode part is marked by the white color. Always remember, the anode and the cathode should go at the anode and the cathode locations on the PCB board. LEDs. LEDs are again two-leg components which are polar in nature, which means they have a positive and a negative side to it. The longer leg of the LED is positive in nature and the shorter leg is negative in nature. PIR motion sensors are basically passive infrared sensors which detects a change in the IR spectrum, that is the infrared spectrum. Now what this means is, as you can see over here, a PIR motion sensor will only activate when there is heat in front of it. So as basically any human being or any object which emits heat and comes in front of a PIR motion sensor, the lights will go on. And as that object which emits heat leaves the PIR motion sensor's area, the lights will go off. Relays. As you can read here, relays are again 4-leg components whose main activity is to switch between different circuits. In this case, in your circuit, a relay will be used in order to switch between a light and a motion sensor. LDRs, that is light dependent resistors. These are very unique resistors whose resistance changes depending on the light falling on the resistor, as you can see here. Voltage regulators. Voltage regulator is a 3-leg device whose main activity is to provide a constant DC voltage to your circuit. In this case, in your circuit, the voltage regulator's main job is to take in 12 volts, as you can see here, and give the other parts of the circuit 5 volts constant DC voltage. IC base. As you can read here, IC base is a base on which your microcontroller will sit. Basically, these are 8-leg components who houses the small computer or a microcontroller, as you can call it, to operate your electronic circuit. Microcontrollers. Microcontrollers are basically computers on a chip. They are the most important part of your electronic circuit, as according to them, they decide how much time the light should be on after an object has passed the motion sensors, or for how much time a light should be on when the object has passed in front of a motion sensor again. Microcontrollers are always used to give intelligence to your electronic circuits. Your motion and light sensor PCB board. Through this board, you will be able to build your own motion and light sensors through which you will be automating your lights around you. The animated circuits which we are giving you will explain you how this board and the circuit actually works, from the electricity entering in at 220 volts and you getting the output at the AC out junction.